Hello students, today I will discuss with you phase shift oscillator. Phase shift oscillator is an RC oscillator. In the previous lectures I have discussed with you LC oscillator. In that we discussed three examples of LC oscillators. First was tuned collector oscillator, second Hartley oscillator, and third one was Colpit oscillator. In this lecture we will study the second category of RC oscillators, and in which the first example is phase shift oscillator. Now in phase shift oscillator there are three components. First one is the tank circuit. It is a frequency determining circuit. Here in phase shift oscillator, the tank circuit, it comprises of three RC circuits. So you can see in the circuit diagram, there are first RC circuit, second capacitor and resistance, and the third RC circuit. So these three sets, they constitute the frequency determining circuit or tank circuit. The next component, it is the amplifier. So amplifier, here you can see in this circuit diagram, it is a common emitter transistor amplifier which is used in this oscillator to overcome any losses which occur here in the tank circuit. And as well as we know, it also introduces a phase difference of 180 degree between the input and the output. Now the third component, it is the feedback network. So feedback, as we know that in oscillators we require positive feedback. It means there should be a 360 degree phase difference, that is zero phase difference between the input and the output of the oscillator. So how that is achieved in this oscillator, you can see, as I said, that here amplifier, it introduces a phase difference of 180 degree between input and output. And also you must remember that one set of RC network, it introduces a phase difference of 60 degree. So here in our circuit there are three sets, as I have shown in the previous slide. So that means total phase difference introduced by three sets of RC networks, it is 180 degree. That is 60 plus 60 plus 60, that is 180 degree. So 180 degree by this three sets of RC network and 180 degree by the amplifier. So total phase difference becomes 360 degree, that is positive feedback. The fourth component, or you can say that is the biasing circuit. So that is required to fix the Q point. So we know that voltage divider bias is the most preferred biasing circuit. Here in this phase shift oscillator, we take values of power supply VCC, R1, R2, and that is emitter resistance, collector resistance RC, and the capacitor. All these values are chosen so that the Q value, it remains fixed. Now we will discuss the mathematical analysis of phase shift oscillator. Here you can see in this circuit diagram, it is a H parameter equivalent circuit diagram, in which this portion, that is HIE, HRE V2, HFE I3 and 1 over H naught E. So this portion is common to every H parameter circuit. The other circuit components which are there in a circuit that we can put along with this H parameter circuit. So here we know in the phase shift oscillator there is a RC resistance, then there are three sets of RC networks, that is CR, CR and CR dash. Why we have taken R dash here? You can see that here HIE, it is the internal resistance, input resistance of the amplifier. So when we take R dash, and in that R dash if I add HIE, then you can see easily that total resistance becomes R, because minus HIE plus HIE cancel each other and total resistance becomes R. So that is why we have taken the last resistance R dash, so that total resistance remains R. Now we do some simplification, that is we have taken this 1 over H naught E, that is very much greater than RC. So in that case no current will pass through this 1 over H naught E, it will become open circuit, and also the HRE, that is reverse voltage ratio, that is also very small. So using these assumptions in this figure 1, we get a simplified circuit diagram, that is figure 2. Here you can see that now HRE V2 has been neglected, and 1 over H naught E is also not required, because no current will go towards this part. So we have RC and these three sets of RC networks. One thing you must notice here, that the RC, it is shown here in series, but in figure 1 it is in parallel. So kindly note that now what we have done, I have changed this current source into the voltage source. So we have done this in our previous semester, that how we can change the current source into voltage source. What we have done, we have, this is the current HFE I3. So that current, when it passes through RC, then total voltage becomes HFE I3 RC. So this voltage becomes the voltage source, and this RC, instead of parallel, it will go to the series. So this is the method by which we can change current source into voltage source. Now we just have to solve this circuit, and for that we will use Kirchhoff's law. So there are three loops, closed loops. We will apply Kirchhoff's law one by one in the first loop, then second, then third. Now how we will apply it? Suppose we are moving in the first loop in the clockwise direction. So if we are moving in clockwise direction, so you can see that we are moving from plus to minus. From plus to minus, by convention we may take that this voltage is positive. So that is why in this equation 1 we get RC into I1. This is the voltage drop across RC. Similarly, voltage across capacitor, it will be 1 over j omega c into I1. So also we are moving from plus to minus, that is also positive. Now in this resistance R, we are moving from upwards to downwards, so from plus to minus, so that is also I3 into R positive, and the voltage source, that is also we are going from plus to minus, so that is also positive. The only term that is negative, it is minus I, that is minus R I2. How it becomes negative? You can see that in the first loop, if I3 current goes from positive to negative, then in the second loop there is current I2, and that current is moving also in clockwise direction. So when that current passes through this resistance R, that will go from negative to positive. You just take care that in the second loop I have taken plus and minus, but when we have to consider the first loop, then you just have to take the signs of first loop only. So in that case, I2 current, when it is moving through R, it is moving from negative to positive. That is why it is negative term. So similarly, for the second loop, you can see that now the current I2, when it goes from plus to negative, that voltage drop will be positive. Then also when it is moving through R, that is also positive from plus to negative, because now I am considering loop 2. And when that current I2, it goes through this right side R, that is also plus to minus, so that is also positive. But at the same time, another current I3 in the third loop, it is also moving through this resistance R, so it is moving from negative to positive. So that means voltage drops across this left side resistance capacitor and right side resistance, that will be positive for I2, and the one term, that is the current I3 which is moving through this R, that term will be negative. So with same reason, you can also easily write equation 3 for loop 3. So now we get 3 equations by using Kirchhoff's law in the 3 loops, and we will solve all the 3 equations. We take their coefficients and equate their determinant to 0. So this determinant is shown in your book, that is the coefficients of I1, I2 and I3. When you put that determinant equal to 0, because now the conceptual part is almost over, now you just have to derive, or you just have to find the frequency and the condition of sustained oscillation. So it is all mathematical. You just solve the determinant, and while solving the determinant you will get this type of equation 4. So as we do in the previous oscillator case, we equate imaginary parts to 0, because here on the right hand side there is no term, so imaginary part equal to 0. So from here, by solving, we get the frequency of oscillations. For a special case, when RC is equal to R, then equation 5 it reduces to more simpler form. Similarly, if in equation 4 I equate the real parts, then I would get the condition of sustained oscillations. And here also, if we simplify the things by putting RC equal to R, then the condition of sustained oscillation becomes HFE equal to 56. So this was a phase shift oscillator. I think that you may have understood the concept behind this phase shift oscillator. So thank you all of you.